Hi, this is Tom Kane, the voice of Jedi Master Yoda. And this is Inside the Force. Listen, you will. Foreseen it I have, yes.
It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Welcome, everybody, back to Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to a jam-packed episode of Inside the Force. Tons and tons to talk about on this episode. We will talk about some major news briefly, and I'll explain briefly. Mm-hmm. Some movie news that are out there. We also got the return of Star Wars Rebels.
Yes.
With an awesome episode featuring a well-known original character. Then we got some comic stuff to talk about that we've got caught up on, and some other news floating around the other mediums of Star Wars mania.
Mania. That's all I got.
I don't know how many times I have to say this, but it's just a great time to be a Star Wars fan.
It is.
I mean,
it's just,
how is it?
Will there ever be a time where we're just nothing's happening? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
It's always.
I mean, now it's like it's everywhere, you know. And I know it was everywhere somewhat, you know, with the EU and stuff. But I mean, now we know all this stuff is canon, and you know,
it's just hard to avoid.
It is.
Star Wars.
So
I mean, some people may hate that, but like, if you want to, you get the comic books, you got the video games, TV show, movies.
I was just I went to Barnes and Noble. I ran into Barnes and Noble the other day to look at some like pop figures they got in there, you know, because of I'm explaining again for the set, but I forgot that there was the novelization of Episode 7.
Oh yeah,
came out.
That's right,
just recently. So I didn't see I completely missed if there was an announcement that it released, but I knew it was coming out in January.
It's been out for a little while. Shortly around the time when the movie came out. Because they've already talked about some of the little nuggets of insight.
I think the audiobook came out right away. I don't.
Yeah, I
think
have
the
audiobook.
I don't think the actual novel came out till just January, this past week or something like that. I think I don't know because it was in their new release side, but yeah, it was. I'm probably gonna get it, but I don't know if I'll read it.
Yeah, they've kind of because the only reason I would read it is to see if any differences or kind of answers questions. They've already talked about that. I mean, we've already kind of mentioned a few things.
But you know, it makes me wonder a little bit about the books, about especially the movie novelizations, like how much it's canon.
Yeah,
because you know when they I mean, I heard it straight from Pablo and Leland when they were asked, they said that the movie novels that you had before, like I bought episode 1, 2, and 3, and I have the books.
Yeah, I've got the novels of them.
Yeah, like, and they said basically flat out that the only parts that are canon is what lines up with the movies.
Right.
So then there's these extra scenes or
like internal thoughts or like, you know, like what does
I don't
that
know.
mean?
Yeah, I mean,
I want a little more clarification.
And that was early on before books started coming out, right? So they were kind of talking about the previous books, you know, the book. So I'm guessing that the entire book is canon.
Yeah,
but you know, just like they re-released those three junior novels, right?
Yeah, those like
episode 4, 5, and 6,
different point of view books or whatever they call them.
And I think there are little things in there that are different.
Yeah, there are some pretty big differences and some small differences. I've read some reviews about it, and some things are pretty different. Something like some lines and some dialogue and little things like that.
See, so that makes you wonder, like, okay, so it's obviously a different author's interpretation.
It's almost
right?
like a retelling based off what you can remember in a way.
Yes.
It's like the telephone game, I guess. Maybe you can liken it to that. I don't know. But
it's canon. It's technically canon.
As far as it can.
Yeah, I mean,
align with the
everything is canon now. So
there's no Legends banner on it.
Just like the comics.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny because you can buy the entire library omnibus of the previous Star Wars Volume 1, right?
Yeah.
Back when it was Marvel in the 70s. You can buy that whole omnibus, but it has the Legends banner on it.
It's great. I'm glad they did that.
But you can buy the hardcover that they just released, Star Wars Episode 4, which is the first 6 books
of that omnibus.
From that omnibus.
But no Legends banner.
But it's canon.
Mm-hmm.
It's the graphic novel of Episode 4.
It's basically the same thing. So
they repurposed it a little bit. They kind of redid the coloring and all that stuff.
That's cool.
So they are. I mean, technically, they're taking what they want, obviously, and making it when it fits. So that's fine. A little digress a little bit in the beginning here. A little pre-talk. Anyway, so let's get into the show. Like I said, a lot to talk about. The first thing is the movie news. Now, all we'll really mention, go ahead and mention the big news, but we'll tell you where.
A little snippet on this show.
Yes.
You got to watch our other stuff, people. You got to, cross-platform this ish.
You got to check it out.
Yeah.
But what's the news?
Oh, yeah. It is the delay of Episode 8.
Correct.
They, as in being the powers of Disney, have decided that Episode 8 should be delayed from May to December.
Yes, 2017
of the same year. Correct. They're saying one reason or another, based on the production, like it's for rewrites or whatever. Maybe it could be money. know. So who knows really why? That's fine. Mm-hmm. If it's to make the movie better, or if it's make a little extra cash, sure.
Right.
I won't be too picky about that.
So what we have done is start another kind of video series on our YouTube channel, which is on the 21 Network. So if you go to YouTube and spell it out, 21 Network, you'll find our channel there. We've got several video shows on there. For those of you who don't know, we do an after show for Gotham, the show Gotham, hosted by our very own Chad Perkins. Mm-hmm. And then we do a review show for Walking Dead. We have our videos that are on there. I'm sure you've seen most of them, which are...
You better.
Yeah. We do... Before, it was more or less just some debate shows or something like that, and then we did our commentaries, but we're going to start getting into giving you a little bit more video. And one of the pieces that we've done is kind of a news part where we're going to talk about the biggest news. So the first video we did is on this topic of this release date. So if you want, go check out more in-depth opinions from us and on why we think this change happened. Go check that out.
Yes, that's all we'll say.
That's all we'll say.
Don't even ask.
That's it. Yep. I'm done.
Yep.
I'm done.
I bet.
I'm done. I'm not. InsideTheForce.com. You can get a link right there to the YouTube channel, but it's youtube.com/21 Network. Mm-hmm. One of the playlists right there, Inside the Force. All our videos right there. Subscribe there, and you'll get them in your feed. So and of course they'll be on our Facebook page and we'll tweet it out. Blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. But that's it. That's all I'm saying.
That's it, guys.
That's all I'm saying.
Stop it, you little whippersnappers, you guys. Come on.
All right. So I don't think there's any other movie news really.
Not really.
I'm really surprised how much they are not. It's kind of a weird statement, but how much they're not.
Yeah.
I'm so
You're excited
crazy
by the lack.
No, yeah.
Or you're surprised by the lack of info.
Of Rogue One.
Correct. Yes.
Like nothing.
Yes. I mean, we got the last thing was the rumored plot.
Yeah.
Which basically is official, kind of, I guess.
Correct.
A little nugget about Mads Mikkelsen and his relation to, almost said Daisy Ridley, to the Felicity Jones character.
Correct.
That was like, about a month ago.
I don't know why, but I'm always saying Felicia Day.
Felicia, you do say that.
I don't know why.
Felicity, Felicia, they're both.
Felicity Jones. Felicity Jones?
Felicity Jones.
Felicity Jones.
Felicity.
Now, what was Felicity Jones in?
She, the biggest thing her is the Theory of Everything with that Stephen Hawking movie.
Oh,
with,
yeah.
Eddie Redmayne.
Yes.
She's.
Okay.
I mean, she's done several things you'd seen.
She's really good.
She's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, for some reason I keep when I talk to Chad, I'm like,
Felicia
yeah,
Day.
Felicia Day, and it's not Felicia Day. I'm sure she would have killed for that role,
Oh gosh,
but
That'd be a different of a movie too. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I'm just completely surprised by the lack of news from there.
Yeah, I mean, all we've got official really is the cast. We have that picture, and we have the bootleg teaser trailer. If you can find that,
Yes.
that's it. And it's
which
like
is not even really in the movie.
yeah, less than a year away from the film. This is incredible. We don't have an official teaser yet, and we're less than a year away.
Nothing.
from the movie. That's a little unheard of. From
Yeah, I'm
big
really
movies.
surprised they at least didn't release that finally. You know,
yeah.
like they should have put that in front of Star Wars Episode 7. To be
Yeah.
honest, I would have liked that. I would have liked to see that on
Yeah.
the big screen
Yeah,
and freaked out with everybody.
yeah.
But in that movie though, at the end it says Rogue One anthology, which they have since changed
Correct. Yeah.
to a Star Wars story,
Star Wars story.
which I'm not even. I'm
a
not
little
even.
weird.
I don't know. I don't know why it's just not Star Wars Rogue One,
Yeah, a Star Wars story.
right? Why
Is that going to be on the poster? Or is that going to be on all the?
I think so.
marketing
It looks
stuff?
like it's part of the official logo.
It's like some Lifetime special.
I know,
title.
right?
Narrated by Jack Handy.
I mean, I like the anthology better. I think.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
You know, at least that was just simple. You know, like okay, so this is an anthology movie. It's different from the
Yeah.
timeline.
Chronicles of Star Wars.
Yeah, but a Star Wars story. Okay,
Yes.
whatever. So anyway, I'm surprised by that.
Yep.
So we don't have really any other movie news. I don't think.
No.
No. So let's talk Rebels, because there's two things on Rebels that we got to talk about, and I think first we'll go ahead and talk about the big thing that came out a day after we recorded last week. Mm-hmm. The mid-season trailer
Yes.
for I was about to say Clone
What
Wars,
a trailer.
for Star Wars Rebels.
What a trailer.
I was kind of blindsided by
Yeah.
it. I knew it was coming,
yeah.
but all of a sudden it was just there, and I did not expect to see what I saw.
Yeah, the season is ramping up considerably in a way that never would have thought would happen.
So what surprised you? What blew your mind the most out of this thing?
I mean, probably the cameos of the little characters that we're gonna get. Like seeing actually Yoda surprised me. The biggest is probably Darth Maul.
Yes.
Probably the biggest thing. But it's just, everything else was almost on the same level, but it was equally crazy. Like Jedi temples, Sith holocron, crossguard lightsaber, these like weird Jedi guard kind of people. All these just weird things that you didn't think would happen in this show.
Mm-hmm.
But above all else, you saw Yoda looked kind of strange, Yoda, and then Darth Maul and him and his like dialogue that he has, his line in that trailer. So Darth Maul was probably the craziest thing, which we thought would happen at some point somehow, but not in Rebels necessarily.
Well, and
all the Vader Anakin stuff too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now that part you kind of knew was going to happen.
Yes, yeah.
Now bringing
Matt Lanter.
Matt Lanter back
Yeah.
to voice, and that was
Oh
awesome.
my gosh! Yeah, that's so.
And it sounds like, I don't know if is that Frank Oz or Tom Kane?
That's Frank Oz. I'm
I
pretty
think
sure.
it's Frank Oz again.
Yeah.
I think it's Frank Oz again. But that whole thing with Anakin, absolutely. And you knew that was going to happen because you definitely kind of anticipated Anakin versus Vader versus
But to hear
Ahsoka.
the voice of Anakin, like I assume it's through like a Force communication thing.
Yeah.
It's like
Talking
why,
to her.
but it's like a legit thing. Is this like legitimately Darth Vader talking to Ahsoka, like saying, "Why did you leave me? Like, why did you do this to me?"
I think so.
Like that's that I hope so, because that to me is such a tragic scene to happen. Like he's actually having a little bit of a remorse or a little bit of a he's actually really still really hurt by it. This thing that happened, and like to have that long lasting effect is it's incredible to me.
Yeah, because it I don't know, it makes you there's no obviously when you're watching episode 3, there's no sense of that.
Yeah,
but you do now have a little bit more to the history.
Yeah,
of loss,
it just adds to it. Yeah,
yeah, it totally adds to it. I think when I first saw it, I didn't right away think of that guy being Darth Maul.
Right.
I was kind of like, who
it was
is
really
that?
dark, pretty quick. Yeah,
very and I know you pointed out, God, it sounds just like Sam Witwer, and I can hear it now, but at first I didn't hear it.
Yeah. It took me the second time to be like, I think that is Sam Witwer.
Yeah, I think it is Sam Witwer
because he has that. He tries to mimic a little bit of the guy who voiced Darth Maul in episode 1. Just like kind of slow, kind of talk like, and you may call me old master.
Yeah,
it's like very.
It's pretty awesome,
gentle kind of voice.
Yeah, my biggest surprise out of that was the amount of dialogue that they discussed about Ezra in the dark side.
Yeah,
that's going to be it's pulling, it's calling to him, it's pulling to it. Because I just we got a little bit of that, I think, maybe last year when he fought the Inquisitor at times.
Yeah,
but
saw some hints of that too in the mid-season finale. A little bit of, like when he's getting mad about his parents and he's like trying to find it.
Yes,
a little bit of anger, but
nothing like. I mean, I think this trailer, like what they've done in the first part of the season, to me, just this trailer, like I would have never guessed they would go these points.
It seems like a
whole nother season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're going to do this in the next half of the season.
How many episodes do we have left of this show?
I mean,
10.
Well, this was
less than that.
Yeah, this was
20 episodes, 16 episode, 20 episode, or
it's a 20. It's a
normal. Is it a normal season?
I think this is an 18 or 20 episode season this year. They
out.
added more to it this year. But that one being this was episode 12, the Princess on Lothal, which we saw coming recently. So I think that's 12 because
I'll look over real quick how many they're gonna have.
Well, they're counting
20. They're gonna have 20.
They're gonna have 20.
Yeah, one television movie and 20 episodes.
So according to this, at least online, so they're counting the Siege of Lothal as 1 and 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is weird because for the longest time, the very first thing we saw, which was Spark of Rebellion, they labeled that as episode 1, but then they took it away.
Yeah.
And it's just called Spark of Rebellion. And then Droids in Distress was actually season 1, episode 1. But here, it actually lists as Siege of Lothal as seasons 1 and 2.
Episodes 1 and 2.
Episodes 1 and 2. Then you got Lost Commanders was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
They have 9 episodes left of the season.
10 for the Future of the Force.
And 11 is Princess on Lothal.
Well, that's weird. Because it says 12 for Princess of Lothal.
Oh, really?
Was there one after Future of the Force? No, there was one after.
Oh, yeah, it was the Parents one. Yeah,
Parents one. So that was 11. 12
so
being
8 left.
So there's only 8 left. Yeah.
And I feel like every episode now has to be so. But probably, though, maybe a lot of those, if you watch back, there were a lot of scenes that were of the same location.
Yeah, I think a lot of that stuff maybe comes from the same episode.
Yeah, probably 3 or 4. But that Darth Maul, I mean, if you throw Darth Maul, I feel like that's got to be like an arc or something.
I feel like that might be the end.
Yeah, that's true.
Leading into next season, maybe. I think he's going to show up in next season. Yeah. But,
jeez. Can't even
that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, the Jedi Guards, like that was weird because those were confirmed, I think, to be the Jedi guys from the Temple. But how do they survive? Are they force sensitive? Or they just know how to wield a lightsaber. I don't know about those guys too much.
How old are they? But I think Darth Maul's been around for this long, this close to the original trilogy. Like, what happens to him? Like, does he die if he is in the main guy of next season? That's like 3
just
years,
3 years
before
or so, depending. I mean, because I was actually
each season is a year.
Well, I see. I don't think that. Me and Chad were talking about this, because we talked about how Leia, and we'll get more into this in the episode, but Leia, her age and Ezra's age, and when Rebels started, I guess Ezra was like 14. I guess.
I mean,
maybe 15.
He was born on Empire Day.
They're saying 15. They're saying this takes place about 15 years after, right?
Yeah.
So he's about 15. He was born Empire Day. I think because not that much has changed, and you think about the timeline of the first season and how the second season takes place not far after, because they just joined Phoenix Squadron, and who knows how long they've been. I think it's only been maybe about 8 to 12 months where we're at now. So I would think it's maybe only been a year total. So we're talking maybe it's 3 years, like you said,
Still,
3 years before.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, if Maul's still around, obviously Vader knows about him. I mean, knows who he is. No one else knows who he is, probably.
Yeah.
No one else knows who he is, because he's been gone for what? The 15 years plus the 10, 12 years before that. So he's about almost 30 years. He's been almost 30 years, yeah. Because 32 years is from episode 1. So he's been, dead and gone forever. And all these guys that are alive now, even Kanan, like wasn't even born when he was around, right? So I think it's crazy, but we've mentioned this before. I mean, what Rebels has become, which I'm completely okay with, is a way to wrap up. Partially a way to wrap up the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because there's all these questions at the end of Clone Wars because they didn't properly end it. What happened to Rex? Why wasn't he in Order 66, or why wasn't he in Episode 3? Which I don't know. They haven't really explained that one, though. Why wasn't he in Episode 3?
Well, that's true. I mean, he could have been off doing something.
But Ahsoka, what happened to Ahsoka? What happened to Darth Maul, because he was alive at the end of season 6, and at the end of season 5, but then he was in season 6 briefly for a few. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't in episode 6.
But that comic,
but he was in the comic. Yes,
part of that.
Correct. There's a comic out there called I think it's Son of Dathomir. Yeah. 4-issue series. You can get the trade out there. It's the only Dark Horse series that's actually canon.
Right.
And the first series of comics that came out that's canon. Good series. Read it. But that kind of shows you what's going on with Maul at the time. But he's, again, I guess it's kind of spoiling everything, but he survives it.
Yeah.
And then obviously it looks like he pops up here. So, so anyway, trailer just crazy. Crazy good. Crazy that they're even going down this road in season 2. I mean, this show has really been awesome.
I mean, they're just doing whatever they can, because what if they get canceled again? I don't know. So they're just pulling out all the punches.
I don't see how that could be possible.
Yeah. I only think
I don't know about viewership. I don't know what they're doing about viewership.
I don't
know. Yeah.
But I mean, I think they've already talked about what they can do for a show after this, because they have, I think, a set time for this show, like about 5 seasons or something like that, maybe. But
I think I've heard that.
Yeah,
I think he's got 5 seasons in mind.
Yeah,
and it makes you wonder if it's going to line right up.
It very well could
to Rogue One. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yep.
Because you can't really show that.
Yeah,
because that story's already going to be told in the movie. So let me ask you this, just one thing. What do you think by the end of the season, what happens to Ahsoka?
I think she's going to die.
Do you think she's going to die in this season?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think so.
At the hands of Vader?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty inevitable.
Yeah. Just thinking about Rogue One, if we'll see anybody from the Ghost crew in Rogue One. A little cameo of
that would be so awesome.
The Ghost.
That would be so awesome.
Because I've like come around to really loving the ship, the Ghost.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's an awesome ship.
Yes, it is.
Sounds, the design of it.
It's pretty big too.
Yeah, it is pretty big. Yeah,
it's
almost big as the Falcon.
Yeah, it's pretty large.
Kind of fat.
It might be bigger. I don't know.
It's like definitely got
Because it has its own little ship.
Yeah,
The Phantom, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
You can't do that on the Falcon.
No,
I think it might be a little bit bigger.
'Cause, like,
Pretty actually, we'll know because they
the X-wings miniatures.
yeah. Actually, I think it's a lot bigger than the Falcon.
I mean, it's definitely thicker. Like it's got like more of a hole to it.
Yeah,
It's pretty awesome.
it's pretty awesome.
And you can in Disney Infinity, you can fly the Ghost.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, fun bits.
Oh,
awesome.
man.
And you can fly the Falcon as well. But
Which
good-
one? What
good
game
ship.
is the Falcon flown in?
Falcon is in the Rise of the Empire.
Yeah, okay,
game,
I haven't
Disney
got that
Infinity.
one yet.
I bought that recently. Been playing that. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I got to get that one because I've gone through the Twilight of the Republic,
Yeah, and you get the Force Awakens,
which is
as well.
awesome. Yeah, I know. I got to get both of those.
So cool.
So now we shift into obviously the return of Star Wars Rebels this past Wednesday with a Princess on Lothal
Yeah.
episode, as we said, episode 12 of season 2 here. Review. What do you think of the episode?
I liked it. Liked it quite a bit. The lady who voiced Princess Leia was very well performed. She did a fantastic job. Sounded a lot like Carrie Fisher. Kind of had the same kind of inflections, all that kind of stuff. I mean, they tried to emphasize how, Star Wars Instagram account also made a little video on their Instagram account about they show Leia in Force Awakens, and it's like she, before whatever, she was a general, then she was a princess, and they showed a clip from A New Hope, and then they said before that she was a rebel, and they showed a clip from Rebel show. So it's a cool little video. But so they're trying to explain well, this is how Leia kind of gets that mindset, and it kind of becomes that kind of rough and tough girl you see in episode 4, which, I mean, there is an element of that to there. But it's not just like a, hey, here's an original character. I think they do a decent job of tying her in a way. I mean, but all in all, it's still a pretty good episode. I think right now they're focusing on Ezra. This whole second half of the season is going to be pretty much Ezra-centric, I think. Mm-hmm. And this episode did a great job of kind of Ezra coming off the fact that his parents are dead. Or so he thinks. Who knows? Yeah. His parents are dead, and kind of talking to Leia kind of was that shoulder for him in a bit to kind of cope with that loss. But what I was wanting to happen, or I was hoping to happen, is if we get any answer about her knowledge of her adoption or a mother. Because there was a moment there where he's talking to them, because Ezra lost his parents. And I wonder if I was waiting for Leia to say, I lost my parents too, but I was adopted or something like that.
I was too. I was totally waiting to see if that was going to happen.
Wanting to see if they would answer that question, but they didn't. But it was still a good scene, good moment. It was a pretty good episode all in all.
I don't know if I don't think she knows.
I don't think so.
I don't think she knows. Yeah, I was really engaged in this episode. I really liked it a lot. I think I think it just made sense that we had to eventually see Leia with the introduction of Bail early on, and them operating under joining the rebellion. I love the fact how they made her basically have to be part of the Empire still.
Yeah, it's a good little, I guess, twist you can say. It's a good little element to the story.
Yeah, because she can't give that away, because we all know the very beginning of episode 4, it's Vader basically saying you're part of the. She's trying to still play it off that way, I'm an ambassador of the Imperial Senate, on a diplomatic mission. She's like, you're part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor.
Yeah, so once again, they take a little nugget from the originals and they just totally blossom with it. And so that's true. I never even thought about that. We should have known that from episode 4, but that's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, so she's still trying to hide the fact that she's helping the rebellion and
diplomatic mission. Where's the ambassador?
Yes, this is good. This is a really good episode. But you got a little. You just got some great scenes with her and with Ezra, and this whole series. Similarly, I guess that the Clone Wars did center a lot around Ahsoka, especially in the later part of of the series. this really is a series about Ezra. I think it's not necessarily about Kanan and those rebels. It's really about Ezra because of what I see in the trailer as well. Because there's going to be a lot of temptation. It looks like there's going to be a lot of decisions going to make. You know what? Briefly, I forgot to mention. You know what? Briefly went through my mind when I was watching him in the trailer, watching him, with these Sith holocrons, and looking. It one little thought passed through my head. Is he Snoke?
Yeah.
Did you think that at all?
I mean,
because here's the reason. Think about this.
Yeah.
And again, I need to watch Force Awakens again. But when you look at Snoke, and you can actually pull up him in the database now, is he human?
I've been trying to figure that out.
You can't tell.
You really can't. He looks very
because
humanoid.
he's not immune, which people are saying he's plagueless maybe, and obviously plagueless is not canonized as immune yet.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're going to make him immune still because I don't think he's plagueless. I'm kind of away from that. I don't think he's plagueless. I think we've heard a couple people say on the sets and basically said, no, he's a new character. He's a new person.
And that's what Serkis has said himself. But
correct.
Yeah, he said he's a new character.
So I'm not, unless he's just trying to lie to everybody. I'm not buying the fact that he's plagueless either right now. But I can't tell if he's alien.
Yeah,
because if he's a human, how crazy would that be?
That would be a big twist connection. That the dark side has just really kind of made him look this decrepit man.
He kind of could pass as the Emperor. I mean, how bad the Emperor looked.
That's such a good point.
And he's got 5 fingers normally.
What if, at the end of this whole Rebel series, Kanan and Ezra fight and gives him the gash on his face and leaves him for dead or whatever? I don't know.
Or he ends up killing Kanan and survives.
Yeah.
When he was holding that stuff and doing it, I was like, man, is he going to be a bad guy? I'm like, oh my gosh, what if he's Snoke? Yeah. I don't know. I just thought of that real quick. Now, I don't know if I believe it or not.
That would be, that's a...
But you think about the age, right?
Yeah, the age is fine. I mean...
Because he would be...
50, 60?
50s, or not even 50, right? Because 30 years...
Plus the
plus
4
plus 34
3, so 37
plus 19.
Yeah.
34 plus 19 is what, 53? So he'd be 53 if he was Snoke. And that would and that would somewhat make sense to me too, because he wasn't trained as a Sith or anything like that, so they're not really Sith, but they know the history with the holocrons, right?
And here's one thing though, actually, I just remembered
the cross guard.
The cross guard. But
anyway.
Dave Filoni did say that it's not his intention to answer any big questions from Force Awakens, and no, he doesn't want to ruin that for the filmmakers. I mean, so that might discount that maybe, but I mean,
I'm not behind
that's
it.
Still really cool. But
it's interesting to think of.
That would make sense, but
you know what I mean. It's interesting to think
because he even talked about because fans are trying to say they thought maybe Maul for a second was Snoke, or they thought those Jedi guards or for a second might have been Snoke because it kind of sounded like Snoke. And Filoni kind of joked about it. It's like, you know what? All these theories, Snoke could be anybody if he is anybody. Maybe it's Chopper. Maybe they uploaded Chopper's brain into a human and he became a dark side user or something like that. So yeah. So I mean, it's interesting to think about who he could be, unless he's just a new guy.
It could be a completely new guy, but at some point we have to get his origin. I'm assuming we have to get his origin.
Some sort of backstory.
Some backstory.
How he got that scar.
Well, it's in episode. I don't know how you do it in episode 8 or 9, unless he tells the story. He tells somebody I was around this whole time. When the Empire was around. Blah, blah. I'm Darth Plagueis. I don't know, maybe, but
maybe Benicio del Toro will kind of give some information in episode 8.
Yeah,
who knows?
But anyway, that's kind of what
to speculate that.
Something to speculate. But anyway, great. The series great return episode, and looking forward to what's in that trailer down the road here. All right, so moving on. Is there moving on right to the comics and stuff?
Yeah,
We're
I'm sorry,
looking
you get it on your
Yeah.
computer. I was looking for the actual comic.
So one thing we wanted to make sure we got caught up on, we talked about it last week, the first episode of, first issue of the first crossover series that came out of Marvel Comics, which was called Vader Down, and a crossover between Vader and Star Wars Vader and Star Wars. And last week we talked about how the first issue was really, really good. Mm-hmm. It basically the backstory is Vader finds out about Luke Skywalker, knows it's his son, finds out he's hanging out on this planet where apparently there's a Jedi temple.
Right.
So he goes after him there and discovers actually this planet, and it's called Vorgus Voss, I think, or something.
Yeah, Vorgus. Yeah, that's one of them.
Vorgus Voss, and it is home to a rebel base. Mm-hmm. And Vader lays a smackdown.
It's pretty insane.
Basically takes out 2 squadrons.
Yeah, he's a one-man army.
And crash lands on the planet by Luke crashing his X-Wing into it. It's crazy. So anyway, but then you pick up with the other books back and forth between Star Wars and Vader, and 6-part series. Very good series. What do you think?
Yes, fantastic. I love. I might have said this before on the show. We're seeing a lot of Vader at his full potential. We got some of that in Rebels with how awesome of a pilot he really is, and how he's taken on this little rebel cell just by himself in his tie. We got more of that in this comic, and just how awesome he can just take on 1,000 rebels. And it's just incredible how powerful he actually is.
Right.
I mean, we have not seen this in the Clone Wars. We have not seen this in Revenge of the Sith or anything. How powerful Anakin Skywalker is. Like, Darth Vader is incredibly powerful, even though he's got no limbs and most of his torso. Like, it's crazy. But besides that, the power of Vader, I think we had a lot of great moments with all the characters. I think it didn't focus too heavily on one or the other necessarily. Like, we got some good stuff with Leia, Han, and even the droids, and especially Luke. There was a moment with Luke came across this temple, and Obi-Wan was talking to him, and I want more. There was something there he could have found or whatever he had.
Yeah,
you talked about that. Like, I want more of that. You got some good. And then Vader walks through the same temple, and he's got some little prequel Easter eggs there. So definitely read that because it's pretty cool. It's just a cool connection that they do.
I feel like we didn't get that much of Luke.
Not that much. He was kind of either knocked out or fighting a little bit. But there's a good point in the temple, and then that little fight that he had with Vader in space. But Han Han was great, and those. Yeah, it's pretty.
I'm actually
well evened out.
It was really good, really, really good. I like the fact that we didn't, because I was kind of wondering. I was like, are we going to see, Vader and Luke fight? Because that would mean Empire wasn't the first time.
Yeah,
which I think it is.
Yeah,
I think it's touted as being the first time they encounter each other. So, so I'm actually glad they didn't do that.
Yeah,
that's why they kind of kicked Luke to the side a little bit. He got knocked out, like you said, and taken prisoner or something like that. But it prevented them from actually fighting each other. Mm-hmm. So, because that's what he's still doing, right? When Empire starts, is he's still looking for Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
So he's going to be searching for him.
3 years they've been looking for him.
Yeah. He's a long time. But no, it's a great series. So check that out. Vader Down. I think the trade is actually coming out here in a couple weeks or maybe a month. So you'll be able to buy that and just read the entire series right there. But one other issue we want to quickly give a review on. We read Obi-Wan and Anakin #1.
Right.
So this takes place, what it says, several years after episode 1. So I'm guessing 7 or 8 years. after. Not quite episode 2 yet, but what did you think of that issue so far?
I liked it. It had some really cool moments with Anakin and kind of his skill, learning, and you have like Mace and Palpatine, Obi-Wan talking about his skill and how good he is with the lightsaber and all that, and again a nice little cameo from a character from episode 1. But it was, I have to look at it again because there was a good interesting moment.
Who was that?
Darth Maul. Well, sort of the robot that was like the hologram of Darth Maul.
Yeah,
in a way, it was like somewhat of a little Easter egg. And then they're going to this planet kind of as a distress call, Obi-Wan and Anakin. But there was just some good moments where already Anakin is not able to control his emotions, all that kind of story where he's, that typical kind of arc where he can't control it and they're worried about him. But it was nice because Palpatine, it's almost like the first time Palpatine has really seen Anakin, like actually stopped and watched and looked at him. Because in episode 1 he says, we'll watch your career with great interest. And in this one, he sees him fighting. He's like, yeah. He's like, this is not just unexpected. It's impressive. How amazing this kid is. And like he's like, Anakin defeated the hologram of Darth Maul, and Palpatine's kind of turned on by that. He's like, oh my gosh, this kid, he's so skillful against Darth Maul. Maybe I can use him for something. And he talks to Mace about that, but. But it was good. It's a nice little start to this arc, which I'm quite excited about. Very, very nice.
Very, very nice. Yeah, really, really liked it. I think this is just a
miniseries, right?
A miniseries, yeah, like the other, like Leia and Lando. 5 or 6 issues, probably 5. So we'll read up on that. Other comics news, I think we talked about earlier. Poe Dameron's getting his own series coming in April. So look out for those. And then, I've been buying actually the trades coming out. They're popping up. So you can get the Leia trade and the Lando trade is out there now. You can get Volume 1's and I think Volume 2's going to be out here soon of Vader and Star Wars. So you can pick those up. I'd suggest, I'm not doing this because we get a plug or anything, but Amazon's where to buy it. You can get it pretty cheap for like $10 or something like that. Amazon.
But we hope to get a little deal from Amazon.
Yeah.
Come on.
You're listening. We know. All right. So besides that, little news you have on the game side?
Yeah. I mean, just, we cover everything. So Battlefront will be getting their first big update here soon. The creators of the game kind of promised in January we'd be getting this free update with some free content, that kind of thing. They don't really specify additionally exactly what we'll be getting, but they're just saying really soon, because in January it was supposed to happen really soon. They're going to be getting updates, free content, that kind of thing. So not much specifics I can offer you on that, just because they don't say that here in this article. But there might be some server downtime and some notifications and some patches to come, all that stuff. Because games are doing that now. Like I've been playing Fallout, figuring out there's been a lot of like patch updates to the game, kind of like fixing things, adding things, that kind of stuff. So this is Battlefront's first patch, you can say, that they'll be getting this, fixing bugs and updates and adding some new features to it, which hopefully might excite some fans, because I hear a lot of negatives about Battlefront, saying how there's not much really there. Like you don't have that many different weapons to choose from, or many different levels, big maps or small maps, or different, I think it's Battlefront, they're called star cards. So not many different perks or anything like that you can purchase. So maybe this will kind of add to that. I don't know. We'll see. I'm very happy with the game, though.
I love the game.
Yeah,
I love the game. I love playing those big battles, man.
The Jakku stuff is really cool too.
Jakku is awesome. Like, did you play Supremacy on Jakku?
Oh no, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Oh man, it's so awesome.
I tried one time, I got kicked off or something, but
yeah, I love it. Let's see. You did.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much all the news out there. What's happening in the Star Wars world? Of course, we'll talk a little bit about the canon books here, but that's really all the news we got. Of course, there's a new Rebels Recon on their YouTube channel for the last episode of Rebels. Really good. A couple of good insights from Pablo Hidalgo on there. But yeah, so let's do some. Is that the next thing? It's
next little profile we'll do here from the one of the two things we do from the show, reading from these books. My book that I read from is the DK book. I was reading from Ultimate Star Wars. So profiling, characters, creatures, locations, technology, vehicles, that kind of thing. So this is a location, and it's Mos Espa. It was specifically Mos Espa Grand Arena. So this is the arena that the Boonta Eve race in Phantom Menace takes place. It's got almost a whole double spread here, talking about basically everything you already know from the movies. But we can catch just a few little highlights. It's got pod racer hangars that we saw. Pit droids that kind of help out, that kind of thing. Watto has his own box, which maybe you didn't know that from watching the movie. I guess I didn't really know this, but the box
that's his box.
That's his own personal box where him and his little cronies, his kind of
Willow's
there, yeah. All these other guys kind of hang out. They have these little monitors that they watch the race. That's where they hang out and view everything. The arena itself can hold 100,000 beings. So that's pretty much was mostly filled to that. I would guess. I see some gaps here.
It's like a Super Bowl,
basically, because it says that the Boonta Eve Classic. So it's almost like a PGA kind of thing.
Yeah.
The Boonta Eve Classic, the largest annual pod race held on Tatooine. There are several, I suppose. It's one of the most famous in the Outer Rim territories. Attracts competitors and spectators from all over the galaxy. So it's kind of a big deal.
Awesome.
Boonta Eve. It's the Mos Espa Grand Arena.
Yeah.
And pretty. And there's a big section of Phantom Menace. Maybe some people may say too long. But
the extended part of it is in there now. Yeah. So it is a little long. But it's
still pretty groundbreaking and still pretty crazy of a sequence.
That's great.
Lucas worked very hard to accomplish.
I wanted to read this, and I didn't want you to see this because I'm really interested on hopefully someone explaining this to me.
Okay.
But I was kind of paging through the other book, which is Everything You Need to Know About Star Wars. So I came across, I was just paging through it, and I came across a bunch of facts on, obviously, canon on Yoda. Mm-hmm. Of course, most of them. He's unknown species. He's from an unknown homeworld.
Yeah.
He's 900 years old. He's 800. I think we mentioned some of these. I think for some reason we mentioned these. But I read this again, and I had to read it a couple times to understand, make sure. Mm-hmm. Now, it's a blurb right here on Yoda's face right here, and it says, "Really?" Like with a question mark and an exclamation point.
Really?
And tell me if you read this. It says, Yoda learns how to survive as a Force spirit after death from the late Qui-Gon Jinn.
Right.
This is where it gets a little weird. He then teaches this secret to both Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker.
I knew the Obi-Wan thing. I figured that.
Of course.
Pretty much did. Or Qui-Gon helped maybe a little bit as well. I actually kind of assumed that. But Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, why does that say he teaches both Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker?
Maybe.
Now, obviously, Anakin Skywalker does become a ghost, Force ghost.
Yeah.
So he had to have learned something, some point. But was it that he did it as soon as he died? You know what I mean? And
here's my justification of it, because it is kind of, I don't know, so a plot hole, whatever, but my justification is that Anakin is the chosen one. He's born of midichlorians. Maybe he has a little bit more of a connection. He's a greater aptitude to learn these skills at a quicker pace than most people, because Yoda was taken all across the galaxy to just learn this one thing. Obi-Wan obviously didn't have to do that. Anakin, however, might have more of a natural ability to do this. So my guess is, when he became Anakin Skywalker again at the end of Jedi, maybe there was some kind of like interim period where he was dying, maybe right when he died, the Force ghost of Yoda kind of grabbed him and was like, listen, this is what you have to do now to survive, and Anakin was just able to do it, I guess. I don't know, but I do need more of an explanation.
Because I think of two things. One, when he passes and then when Anakin dies or Vader dies, the whole death thing, there's no sense of time.
Yeah.
It could take some time for him to train, I guess, but since there's no time, it's nearly instant.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought of like that. But then I did think of this scenario, and I have no evidence to back this up at all. But what if, when you turn like he did, right? Anakin turned to the dark side and became Darth Vader. Mm-hmm. Therefore, like what Obi-Wan says, right? What did Obi-Wan say in episode 4? He says, or episode 6, I'm sorry, when he explains it, he goes, your father ceased to become Anakin Skywalker and became Darth Vader. It's saying something like the once person I knew was gone or something like that, right? Well, what if that good side isn't gone? It just goes somewhere, right? And maybe that's what Yoda interacted with
that side of
the
him?
good side of Anakin and taught him, so that when he became Anakin, he chose to become Anakin again and not Darth Vader. That knowledge kind of filled back in. You know what I mean?
That's a pretty deep,
Because if he's not Anakin, if he's basically Darth Vader, I know his body's the same, but maybe it's a different spirit or different
consciousness
almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Here's the thing I kind of learned recently, actually, just watching this the mid-season finale of Rebels. Kanan talking to Ezra about his parents. He says the Jedi teach that the spirit basically lives on, referencing his Ezra's parents, who aren't Jedi. But he says, your parents will live in you forever, basically.
Right.
Which made me think, so according to the Jedi teachings, everybody lives on. There is an afterlife, but the Jedi are the only ones that can commune through the Force after death.
Right.
That's what I'm getting from all this information we got from Clone Wars, from the movies, and from what Kanan said there. That the Jedi believe everybody has an afterlife, but only Jedi can actually manifest themselves and commune through the Force after they're dead. That there is a greater afterlife in a way.
Does Kanan know that?
I don't know if Kanan knows that. So I think Kanan, to his
I don't think he does either.
Kanan only knows that. That's why too kind of is interesting. So like the Jedi don't know that the Jedi can commune. They only know that you just live on. Now it's because the big difference between the Sith. The Sith don't believe you live on at all. They think you're dead. That's it. You're just cease to exist, and that's it. You're done. But the Jedi think, well, no, you do live on. There's just an afterlife. Then Yoda learns that you can actually. There's more than just that.
Yeah.
So maybe Anakin's spirit lives on after he dies at the end of 6. They just commune with that spirit.
Yeah.
Say, hey, you can do more than just this. The spirit's trained. So it's So something like that's just
we need
crazy.
More. I'd like an answer. I like it. If I get to if we get celebration, I get to ask a question. I'll be like, all right, tell me what's going on.
Dude, so ask him that and ask him the Padme Leia, like who's Leia's talking about when she says, I remember. So write this down. Write on your hand.
That's huge.
Like, okay, 2 questions. Yeah.
All right, guys. That'll do it for this week's episode of Inside the Force. We appreciate you guys listening. Of course, go to InsideTheForce.com. Get all the episodes that we've done, as well as our YouTube channel where we got some good video up there, especially this week where we talk about the date change of episode 8. So go check that out, youtube.com/21network. Of course, on Inside the Force, we are on Facebook and Twitter. You can listen to the show on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and TuneIn Radio. We appreciate all the listeners on each platform. Of course, Casey is Kryptonian1138. on Twitter and Battlefront Xbox.
Yep.
I am D Cottingham21 on Twitter, but not. I'm Producer21. It's my gamer tag on Xbox, so look for us on Battlefront there. And like you, we play some Disney Infinity with some Star Wars stuff. It's pretty cool. Yeah. All right, guys, we appreciate it. Check us out next week when we got an all new Rebels episode to talk about. Got more comics, I'm sure, to talk about. Get you caught up in whatever news comes out. So in the interim, he's Casey Cooley.
I'm being torn apart. I want to be free of this pain. I know what I have to do, but I don't think I have the strength to do it. Will you help me?
Whoa, a little Force Awakens. Kylo. So did you see the Saturday Night Live with him?
Yes. Why haven't we talked about that yet?
Oh, my God.
Undercover boss with Kylo Ren. Such a clever idea.
It was.
Matt. I'm Matt. I'm new here. Just, what do you think about Kylo Ren?
Forgot to talk about that. Yes. I actually haven't seen the entire thing.
Oh, gosh. We got to watch after this then.
I've seen the majority of it, but I haven't seen the beginning of it.
We're watching after this then.
Yeah. I have not seen the beginning of it. But, you know, I watched the sketch after that and was completely turned off.
Well, I didn't watch the whole episode. I mean, which one was it?
The Aladdin
sketch?
It
was weird.
It was so weird.
It was so weird. There was a few...
When they cut to him, like, landing with these toys, I was like, come on.
They had to, like, we got to make this cheesy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Very funny.
I mean, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's just
Adam Driver was good.
What I like is that he even went all out. It's like, I'm going to be goofy. I'm going to be silly. Whatever. It's Saturday Night Live. So he
got to be on that,
was
though.
Incredibly goofy in that.
But that Undercover Boss was pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, I knew it was you. I knew it was you when you started talking.
Yeah. Matt downright sucks. Like, it's just...
Oh, I love it. So go check that out. I'm sure it's on YouTube if you missed it. Saturday Night Live with Adam Driver.
Yeah.
Undercover. Actually, it's just Undercover Boss.
Yeah, just look at that.
That's just hilarious. All right, guys, we appreciate it. Inside the Force. Check us out, InsideTheForce.com. Check you guys out next week for all new episode. For Casey.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm Dave Cottingham. May the Force be with you.
This has been a production of the 21 Network. For more great podcasts, visit 21network.com. To view additional content, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/21network. Follow us on Twitter at 21network for the latest news and updates. The 21 Network, for the fan and all of us.